Cold rations on a freezing night, fingers too numb to strike a match, and somewhere beyond the dark tree line, the enemy was listening. In World War II, a fire was not comfort. It was a death sentence. One flicker of light could draw mortar fire. One wisp of smoke could betray an entire unit's position. Yet soldiers still had to eat, still had to keep their strength, still had to function under exhaustion and fear. Hunger doesn't pause for tactical necessity. So men adapted, quietly, ingeniously. They learned how to heat, soften, and prepare food without flame, smoke, or sound. These were not clever camp tricks. They were field-tested survival systems, refined under fire, taught man to man, and forgotten once the war ended. What follows are 6 of the most effective fireless cooking methods used by World War II soldiers to stay alive when lighting a match was not an option. This isn't nostalgia. It's applied history. And if the fire died tonight, these are the methods that would still feed you tomorrow. Engine block heat meals turn movement into cooking time. For soldiers assigned to vehicle units, convoys and armoured divisions, the engine was more than transportation. It was a heat source that never slept. A running engine produces steady, predictable warmth along its block and manifolds, and soldiers learned to exploit that heat without drawing attention. Food, usually canned rations or wrapped portions of bread and meat, was sealed tightly to prevent spills. When foil was available, it was wrapped snugly. When it wasn't, layers of cloth or wax paper from ration packaging did the job. The bundle was then secured against a hot engine surface using wire, cord, or even stripped fabric. Placement mattered. Too close and tins could burst. Too far and the food stayed cold. Experienced soldiers cracked can lids slightly to relieve pressure and learned which engine surfaces provided even heat without scorching. Hours of driving or even long idling periods slowly warmed meals to a steaming, morale-lifting temperature. No fuel was wasted, no smoke produced, and no time lost. Cooking happened while moving. Today, the same principle applies in any scenario involving machinery. Tractors, generators, even heavy tools produce usable waste heat. The lesson is efficiency under constraint. Steam pack heaters use trapped moisture instead of flame. In winter conditions, frozen rations were often as dangerous as empty packs. Soldiers developed a method to soften and heat food using steam captured in sealed containers. An empty biscuit tin, mess kit, or small ammo box became the chamber. A shallow layer of water was added, never enough to boil the food directly. Rations were placed inside, often wrapped in cloth or leaves to keep them clean. Heat came not from flame, but from preheated stones or metal scavenged from engine blocks or earlier fires that had already been extinguished. These heat sources were placed near the water, the lid sealed tightly using cloth, mud, or pressure, and the container left to work in silence. Steam gently raised the temperature inside, softening bread, warming canned food, and rehydrating dried rations. It produced no light, almost no scent, and could be used inside dugouts or snow pits. The method required patience and proper sealing, but it turned minimal resources into dependable warmth. Modern survivalists replicate this with sealed pouches and hot rocks, proving the principle hasn't aged. Solar reflector tin cookers turned sunlight into concealment-safe heat. In desert and Mediterranean theatres, fuel was scarce, but sunlight was constant. Soldiers noticed that polished metal left in direct sun grew hot enough to warm contents, and they refined the observation into a deliberate cooking system. Reflective surfaces scavenged from ration tins, mirrors or polished canteen cups were angled to direct sunlight toward a small cooking vessel. The vessel itself was often darkened with soot to absorb heat efficiently. Food placed inside, sometimes with a small amount of water, slowly heated under focused sunlight. Rice water and canned meat could be brought to safe temperatures without flame, smoke or sound. The setup required frequent adjustment as the sun moved and careful positioning to avoid reflective glare visible to enemy observers. While useless at night or under heavy cloud cover, the method excelled in fuel-poor environments. Today's solar cookers are direct descendants of this battlefield improvisation. Hot stone bivouac cooking turned buried heat into a silent oven. When fires were unavoidable, soldiers learned to use them briefly and hide the evidence. Stones were heated intensely in small concealed fires, then removed once glowing hot. The fire was extinguished and buried, leaving no trace. The stones were placed into shallow pits lined with earth or clay food, laid on or between them, and the pit covered with soil, cloth or metal to trap heat. The result was a slow, underground oven capable of cooking meat, bread and grains over hours without smoke or light. Timing and stone selection were critical. Wet stones could crack violently, and insufficient insulation wasted heat. But when done correctly, the system provided reliable cooking while remaining invisible. Modern earth ovens and survival pit cooking follow the same principles with more refined materials, but the wartime version was built under pressure and perfected through necessity. Buried ember clay ovens concealed entire kitchens underground. An evolution of pit cooking, the buried ember clay oven allowed soldiers to bake and roast with remarkable concealment. A small chamber was dug and lined with clay or mud to insulate and seal it. A brief fire inside heated the walls and generated embers, which were then used as the heat source once the flames died. Food was sealed in tins or wrapped tightly and placed inside. The opening was closed with stone or packed clay, trapping heat and preventing scent escape. The earth absorbed and held warmth, turning the pit into a slow cooker. Once finished, the oven could be collapsed and filled in, erasing all signs of activity. This method demanded preparation and patience, but it allowed cooking in hostile territory with minimal risk. Variations of this technique are still used by remote communities and bushcraft practitioners today. Body heat ration softening relied on the last available heat source. When no tools, fuel or safe heat sources remained, soldiers used their own bodies. Frozen bread, chocolate and meat could be softened by tucking rations inside coats, under arms, between thighs or inside sleeping bags. Wrapped in cloth to absorb condensation, food thawed slowly over time. It was uncomfortable and inefficient, but silent, portable and always available. Soldiers learned to soften food while marching, turning movement into preparation time. The method also worked for thawing water flasks and medical supplies. It required discipline and patience, but in extreme cold, it was often the only option. Modern mountaineers still rely on this same principle when all else fails. They cooked without stoves, baked without ovens, and survived without fire. These were not clever tricks. They were answers to hunger in places where hunger could not wait. The tools were crude, the conditions unforgiving, but the knowledge kept men alive long enough to see another sunrise. The systems we rely on today are fragile. When they fail, forgotten skills become priceless. If you value resilience, history, and the kind of knowledge that matters when comfort disappears, subscribe to the Wartime Frontlines and share this with someone who still thinks survival begins with modern gear. Because history has already shown what happens when the fire goes out.